So we are officially ready at this point. And one of the things that I enjoy by working with Brookssmedia is that it's a certain level of professionalism we can't find anywhere else. And on top of that, they're one of the greatest partnerships that you can work with.
Okay. So right now, what we're doing is just setting up for an interview today for a documentary that we're shooting for a church. And as you all can see, this is the setup that we have here: A7S3, another A7S3. We're actually using the newer Pro Mist filter. They just dropped those on $92. I'll link it down in the description below. But this is the look that it's giving us a real hazy look. Josh, can I take a seat for us real quick? Kind of gives us that real hazy look without having a haze machine there with the lights blue in the back. So I do like the filter. Looks pretty good. And so what I really want to show you all is like the fact how we're replicating the light that's coming through the stained glass window. So with the Aputure LS60X, all we do is have it just bleeding right there on the wall. I actually want to show you all what it looks like when it's off. So Mac, just come in and kind of frame real quick.
Hold on 1 second, let me just adjust that. Okay.
All right, here's it off. See what I'm saying? Like it doesn't have as much depth. Boom, turn it back on. Oh, come on now. Looks fantastic. So the nanlite 300B Mark II is our key light for the day. And believe it or not, it's actually only at 24%. And the great thing about this key light is that it is bicolor. So we are actually matching the color temperature in the room environment so it doesn't look as sourcey, as my gaffer would say. But we also had a Fresnel mount just so it won't be bleeding everywhere. We want it to be very direct so it doesn't look like it's coming from an actual light source. So the Fresnel mount with the barn doors that come with the nanlite Fresnel is actually chef's kiss. Appreciate them. And then we got to go on through the frosted shower curtain just because it is obviously very soft and it's going to be like very lightly diffused on the skin, make it look very natural. Plus we got the Pro Mist filters on, which is even doing even more so that. But you probably are sitting here like wondering like, man, why is there a sound blanket on these pew chairs? Is that what they call brother Mac? Are they pew chairs? Okay. So Josh, can you please explain to them why this is here?
Of course, of course. So before we do that, let's go back to this light. As you notice, the barn doors has it so that it's not so, without this rug here, it's going to be super sourcey. But if you see the barn doors, it's kind of like cornering off the light. So it gives it a smaller section of light. Now, if you look very closely at this monitor right here, you'll see that it's an even amount of light casted on the left and on the right side of the pew. However, if you notice what happens when I move this blanket right here. Now, if you look at the monitor, you'll see that the highlights have illuminated slightly so that this side is very bright and this side is dark. So what this does is by having pews, and the good thing is that they're of, very tall height, it completely blocks off the light on the bottom of this board here. So here's the before. And there's the after. Significant difference.
Right, so here we have the camera placement for the A cam and the B cam, right? A7S3 on an 85 mil with black Pro Mist filter. Then this one got the black. This has a black Pro Mist filter as well through newer. I showed you all the frame, but as you can see, that's where the light is. Camera is opposite side of the light. Now I just want to show you all this frame. So for me and my director, we kind of had this. Fit focuses. We kind of had this battle often as far in regards to framing, but I'm a firm believer in setting your frame up for success, if you will. So if I want to crop in, I have the room to be able to do that, and also if I need to make a wide shot, make a more powerful shot, whatever the case is, an establishing shot, I can do that. So sometimes giving yourself that flexibility in that room can be great for you in post. We are obviously shooting in 4K, and if we, crop in enough, like 2 times it's 1080p, which is still good enough. You know what I mean? So don't be so hung up on, oh, if I don't have 8K, I can't crop in. Yes, you can. So that's how that frame looks. And then we go over here on an 85. We have him on the left third. Just kind of, adding some more detail. Like, look at that, like that. That looks absolutely phenomenal. And I didn't want the light to seem so. Again, we already discussed that, but the light is really just falling onto his face, and the spotlight is acting as our own personal free hair light, which is pretty dope. And also, too, just to reiterate in regards to this framing, Mac, can you just look at real quick? His head, in a perfect world, I would point the camera down just so his eyes would be kind of like on that line there, but this still works. Like, I just like the framing of the shot, how good it looks. Sometimes you gotta go with how good it looks versus the quote unquote rule of thumbs, if you will. All right, so the main thing about doing documentary setups, y'all, is just being ready before the talent gets here, right? So now that we got all our lights and audio set up, cameras ready to go, when they're ready to sit down, it's just a easy peasy thing, and we already know our frame looks good. So one thing I would tell you all, play with your frames, play with your scenes. When you are looking at your scenes, seeing where you can add pockets of light, add some depth can go a long way to making your shot more dynamic. It's not always about the camera, it's about the person that's using it. So stay tuned. Until then, stay frosty.